Welcome to Undoing the Complex with Chantel and Dante. It's been a long day.
It's been a real long
on
day.
Both ends.
Like I was just, we got something after this, and I was just trying to, what was I saying? I don't know. It's just been a really long day.
It's been a long day.
Like a good day though. Like long as in like full, and my brain just feels like it's done. I'm ready to go to sleep.
But it's going to be a great episode, so don't shut him off yet.
They're like,
he's
well, I may as well go to sleep too.
hyping this up to be something really great.
No. This is when you get the unfiltered and the real.
Or this is when I step in and take it over.
Or both.
But
But anyways, the music that y'all are hearing in the intro, we got to give a really quick shout out.
Really
to
quick,
Rio.
big shout out.
Really big
Quick shout out.
to Rio. Who is Rio, babe?
Rio is my brother-in-law. He's married to my beautiful younger sister. They live
Yes.
in Calgary, Alberta. And he is a kind of like you, like a creative, eclectic genius
He is
so many hidden talents.
He's an incredible genius. I don't think that there's anybody that I know that loves music more. Like, I mean, all genres.
All music.
There is no sound that he's not interested and intrigued in. He plays multiple instruments. He has the kindest voice, but he is a deep thinker, intelligent man. And he made this track, and it did not take him a long time.
It is an original track. He played every instrument in it.
Yeah, just insane. And there's like even that kind of church organ in there. Just, it sounds real good.
Did he do that like little singing part like that?
I don't know.
I need to find that
but
out.
I definitely was. I wanted to ask, and I was like, man, I don't know. I don't want to ask him
Jen.
if he actually sang that.
I'm going to ask Hundo P.
Well,
I'm asking.
anyways, we're just very grateful for the people that believe in us and are helping us along the way. I heard someone say a quote, and it's something that I live by whenever I'm starting something or I'm doing projects or working on things when it comes to collaboration. And it was Toby Nwigwe. He's a Nigerian guy from Houston, an incredible rapper. And he said, man, you'll be surprised when you start pushing your car along the side of the road, who else would stop to help you start pushing your car. And that really stuck with me because it's such a perfect picture, I think, when we decide to, actually do something or take a risk in doing something to people that are actually like, man, I can get behind that. I got, this connection here. I can help with this, or I can do this. And so thank you, Rio, if you're listening. If you're not, we're still grateful for him. So,
yes.
But yes.
But today we are actually going to talk about 3 things we wish we knew before we got married. And this actually was a post that I wrote several weeks ago that got like a ton of feedback and comments and questions and messages.
Yeah, and whether you're married or not, this is going to be really helpful. Man, there's a lot of things I wish I would have known before I got married. But these were 3 that I was like, man, I definitely agree. And I feel like we got a lot to just speak into those things. If you're not married, I think it'll really help prevent some future pain. Just things when you get married, things that you don't know what's on the other side. But there's things that you can start doing today as a single person to prepare for, that dream girl or that dream guy. Then if you are married, you're going to be laughing and realize like, man, I am right there with you. Or praise God, I figured that out because I didn't know that this could be on the other side. And so, yeah.
Or you're going to be crying because you might still be in this painful space.
Or that, and that's okay as well.
Keep listening.
Because life can be complex.
Yes. So I'm going to just read bits of the post, and then we're going to unpack each one. Does that sound good? Yeah. Okay. So 3 things I wish I knew before we got married. Number 1, marriage isn't just about me and my needs. We spend a lot of time making lists about our future husband, especially in the church, and what they'll look like and be like for me, how they look, personality, strengths. Oh, wait, sorry. How their looks, personality, strengths, and love will benefit me.
Yeah.
But marriage is laying your life down every single day for the rest of your life. It's sacrificial, and it looks like being there for the other on their hardest days. On the days where their shortcomings annoy you, frustrate you, and even hurt you. It's not about getting everything you've ever wanted, but rather you being that for someone else and they do the same in return. It's holy and sacred, but it's also humbling and selfless.
That's good. It's harder lived out than said. Because when you enter into marriage, you realize that you still have needs, but now you just joined your life to a whole nother person who also has needs.
Mm-hmm. And I think especially as women, maybe this is the same for guys, but I don't know. We kind of have this picture of what it's going to look like when our knight in shining armor comes and rescues us from the life that we're living. And then he meets all our needs. He
Like
meets
rescue
all
from
the
the life of
requirements.
singleness.
Yeah. And just like he's going to be our dream come true. He's going to be everything that we ever hoped for and dreamed of and wrote down. And not that it's a lie, but it really creates a high expectation for this person to fill a giant hole that you have made space for in your life.
It's just because if you've never been married before, the temptation is to create a fantasy marriage, and so many
and
times
a fantasy person.
and a fantasy person, and so many times, because culture or what we see on movies or whatever, or what we grow up, all of these things that creates excitement. If you're not careful, you can start fantasizing about something that's not realistic. And so you go in with certain expectations that aren't met, and then you experience disappointment where I thought, we weren't going to have this issue. I thought me and you, we thought we were the same person when we were dating. We thought we were the exact same.
We are very, 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 very different.
Very different. There's some similarities in there, like, some cool ones. I think we're both go-getters.
Cool.
But that's probably the only one I can find. We couldn't be more opposite. Black, white, Canada, South Bay.
Morning, night, extrovert,
Jesus.
introvert.
Jesus, Lord.
But marriage is not just about getting your needs met.
Then what is it about?
It's about being able to be in a place where you actually have the capacity, the maturity, and the internal health to be able to do that for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we come into a relationship expecting that they're going to meet all of our needs. And when they don't, we break up with them, we move on. This happens in friendships too, where we just walk around just hoping that someone's going to fill up our cup. And when they fill it up wrong, or when they don't fill it up enough, then we disregard them and we write them off.
Yeah.
But that's not marriage.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people think, relationships are a give and take. But we never end up giving, and we just take.
Right.
When in reality, it's give and receive. It's give and receive. Because when we enter into a relationship and I say, I'm actually laying down my life, and I'm trusting that you will do the same.
Right.
Then when I receive from you, I know that I'm not worried about what I'm gonna get.
Right.
I'm not thinking about what am I gonna get out of this relationship. I'm thinking, man, what am I bringing to this relationship?
I really like that. It's not give and take, but it's give and receive.
I know. I told you when I get tired, stuff come out of me. I knew you were gonna think about it. I knew you were gonna have to say loud with that one.
I did, because if you both are coming together to both give and receive from each other, then there's not this how am I going to get my need met?
Or it's not this, I'm going to give in order to get my need met.
Right.
Then there's the manipulation of I had the kids twice, so you need to have the kid 3 more times.
Or there's the desperation.
Now, it's not saying that we don't do that. There are some things that we're like, hey, babe,
I'm pretty sure today we were doing that thing where we were trying to prove to each other that the other person's day was longer and harder.
Actually, I wasn't doing that.
Oh,
so
yeah, me
think
either. Yeah, me either.
But what I'm saying is there's a foundation of trust that I know you have my back.
Right.
When I was done today, you literally said, babe, go into the room. I don't know what happened in that hour. Was that an hour?
No, it was 45 minutes.
Okay, well, I slept like a baby because I went to go read the Bible, and I literally I think I read one sentence.
And you passed out.
And passed out. But you being able to tell me, even after you had a long day, like, I'm aware of that, just so you know.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you allowed me to go into the room and lay down, but you're able to do that because I'm not taking
Right.
every other area.
Right.
And I think in that way, so many times we're like, man, I want to get, like, when's the last time I done it? And everybody's, you enter into a relationship or you're in a marriage and you start protecting your own.
Yeah.
When marriage is about, man, we lay down our lives.
Right. That being said, we're talking about this like we're way on the other side. We did not do this.
No, that's how we know what the downfall of it, and then the beauty of the other side of giving and receiving.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I was gonna ask you what do you think changed to where we came from being give and take to give and receive?
A lot of things happen in me.
Yeah.
I think we both individually had to go after our own. Like, what's causing me to not give sacrificially? What's causing me to take? What's causing me to actually go after things that isn't the space to do it? What's causing me to escape? I think it was a lot of, for me personally, it was me going off into la la land and not being present.
Right.
And escaping from responsibility, showing up, actually being present. And so I think,
And I think for me was feeling very insecure and codependent in our relationship in those first year or two, where I didn't feel like I could give in the same way because I was so afraid of not having enough. And those first probably 6-8 months of our marriage, all I wanted to do was hang out with you. Yeah. And I remember you felt like, I don't think you would have felt like I was taking from you, but I remember you said one time, like, I want to be able to hang out with my friends.
Yeah. I remember that.
And so it was a space of like, there wasn't a lot of give and receive because I was just trying to take your time, your affection, your whatever.
And for me, I was just more so trying to take my time back.
Right.
Oh, because, you're 6 years older than me and I didn't get to have that time where, it's just me and you against the world.
Because we had kids really early.
And so I'm trying to take without us actually having conversations and saying, babe, you can actually go hang with friends, but you need to do that in increments.
Right.
Like, where there was trust, instead I was breaking trust by just having go hang out with friends, and you're like dying.
Right.
And so I think that it's almost like this cycle of like, man, I take, and then trust is broken, and so you're nervous anytime, and you're not giving me anything because you're like, man, you've already taken too much.
Right.
The bank account is empty.
So then I'm withholding.
Not a physical bank account. I wasn't spending everything. There was that one time where I bought remember I bought, how many shirts I bought?
Oh, I was talking about the time where you spent our last $9 on a burrito. We had $9 whole left in the account, and you said, I'm going to get a double wrap burrito. And I checked the account, and I'm like, $0.
I had to be so hungry.
And many other things. But hungry is among those things.
My stomach got me in trouble that day. My stomach and my escaping.
Yes.
And my lack of awareness to know I have responsibilities, and we've agreed with something and not realizing that moment was going to break a lot of trust.
This actually brings us to point number 2 of 3 things I wish I knew before I got married. Number 2, marriage won't fix your brokenness. Your self-hatred, insecurity, comparison, fear, and emptiness don't go away when you get married. It's not your partner's responsibility to complete you. It's your job to recognize the places in your life where you feel pain, disconnection, numb, not enough. Yeah. It's your job to go after those things so that you can show up in your marriage being the healthiest you, and that your stuff isn't spewing out all over the other person.
Yes. If anything, the stuff that you don't deal with, in your beautiful single life. I think single life is a beautiful thing.
It's a gift. It is.
It really is. And I think if you don't deal with you know, some of those bigger rocks in your life,
They get bigger.
not just get bigger on the other side of marriage, they flare up.
Right.
Because you're doing life the closest you've ever done it with the person.
Right.
And that all that stuff on the side of singleness, it's gonna flare.
Yes.
And I think it's a good thing. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, if you got married, like, it's not like, okay, all this stuff just flared, I guess we're done. It's like, no, you just brought in a whole bunch of mess that you now have to figure out, and your spouse is gonna not be liking you for a little bit.
And it's flaring up because in marriage, there's that covenant commitment to each other. And so it's actually showing that it's safe for it to come out. And
That's
not
true.
that it all waits until you get married. Like, we had a lot of stuff come up in our engagement season. Like,
right.
as soon as we reached a new level of commitment to each other, all this stuff started coming up.
You're doing life closer.
Yes. And there's more trust built. So there's stuff that's safer to come out, and you can it's actually an opportunity for you to be like, oh, the space that I'm in right now is healthy, solid, mature enough to actually deal with this without it breaking me.
Yeah. And sometimes it's more trust built. Sometimes it's
Yes.
like, I don't trust you, but I have to.
Right.
Like, oh, this level of commitment requires trust.
That's true.
And it, like, the closer you get, the more things actually flare up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I forget what the question was, but
It wasn't a question.
yeah.
It was, marriage doesn't fix your brokenness. And I think I realized that very early on in marriage. It was a conversation that we were having one night. You were ironing a shirt, and I felt horribly insecure, and you were talking confidently about something, and I told you, I was like, babe, I haven't actually liked myself for as long as you've liked yourself. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
And I realized, like, getting married and having a boyfriend and being in this relationship, getting married, felt like it kind of filled this temporary gap in my life where I felt afraid and insecure and anxious, and a lot of self-hatred towards myself. And it temporarily filled it, but then I realized that, oh, this actually isn't going to change the fact that I don't like myself.
Yeah.
And that I feel really insecure and I feel really uncomfortable in my own skin. And so as soon as I got pregnant with our first, it was 4 months into marriage, I started going to counseling every single week for 18 months because I knew that there was stuff inside of me that was affecting my marriage, was affecting our connection, and was ultimately going to affect my kids someday too.
Yeah.
You have anything to say?
No, I just...
Okay. Okay. Marriage won't fix your brokenness. Number 3, your wedding day isn't the destination. We spend a lot of time planning for our wedding day and not the thousands of days that come after. I wish I would have understood that my wedding day wasn't the pinnacle of my relationship, but just the beginning. Marriage doesn't thrive on mountaintop moments and being seen and celebrated in front of all your friends and family. Your marriage will thrive on the choices you make in your relationship when no one else is watching, when it's just you two in an argument and how you treat each other, when you're in a season of pain and you continue to choose each other and be kind in how you speak. The point was, your wedding day isn't the destination.
It's not.
I actually have this moment. I remember it was Halloween. It was a month after we got married, and we didn't have at Chipotle. Way back then, you could dress up for Halloween and get $1 burrito. Remember that?
Yep.
And so we didn't have costumes, and I was like, let's just go in our wedding attire. And so
That was so vulnerable for me.
Was it vulnerable for you?
Remember how I feel in suits and...
Oh.
Yeah, I feel really vulnerable in suits.
You still kind of feel a little vulnerable in suits?
Not vulnerable. Don't tell people I still feel vulnerable if I didn't say I still feel vulnerable.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was my vulnerability to share.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so now y'all know. Now every time y'all see me in the suit.
That's what I heard.
Because here's the reason. I like, for most suits and things like that, like I think I'm a pretty, whatever average they use to measure people, I think I'm in that, space. But I like things to fit me a certain way and with, casual clothes. Anyways, this isn't that moment. We're talking about wedding day not being a destination.
We were at So we went to Chipotle in our clothes, in our wedding clothes. And then we got back home. We had our burritos, and I was getting out of my wedding dress in the closet, and I just felt sad. Like I felt grieved. I felt like my wedding day was over, the best day of my life, because we had a beautiful wedding day.
Mhm.
It was beautiful. All of our friends and family came, and I just felt sad that it was over and that now I was
Now you just
quote
stuck
unquote
with
just
me.
married.
Now you stuck with me.
And it didn't have anything to do with like, I just realized like who I'm actually married to. Because I loved you. I love you.
You
But
loved
I
me.
I was so sure of my choice. But
You're right.
I realized that it was kind of hitting me that, oh, that was literally just the beginning. Like I even cried on our honeymoon, remember? Because I was sad that it was all over.
Sounds like a lot of sadness.
I know.
with
But
you.
that's because I believed the lie that was the best that there was.
Mm.
And even after the couple weeks after we were getting settled into our apartment, we were going to TJ Maxx and like buying spatulas and pans, and it was just all fun.
Yeah.
And then real life hit, and you had to go work 3 jobs.
Right.
I had to learn how to cook because I didn't know how.
Right.
And we had to figure out how to be married and communicate in a way that both of us felt seen and understood, which took years.
Right.
And
now, let's say this, because in this season of this podcast, we got a lot of friends and people that we know that are getting married. So if y'all are getting married, listen, enjoy. It's such a special time when you're getting married. I think the wedding day and the days leading up, not the months, because the months, if you're planning your own wedding, it is
It's
a
hard.
lot of work. And the wedding day is about celebration of a new life, a new life that's being built together. And that's special. It's that cornerstone piece of like, oh, this is where it all began, and without that start, there would be no marriage. But the reality is, man, we just started, putting the first brick down, and that's a special brick. We might have some people write names on it, put, little handprints on it. That's a really special brick. But once that house is built, ain't nobody gonna see that brick.
mm-hmm.
Once those rooms are starting to form and those things, people are gonna be, not thinking about that brick.
Right.
And I think in the same way, enjoy and be present in the moment. It's not like, okay, we got to prepare for the word, so we got to prepare for real life, or the honeymoon
Right.
phase is going to be. I feel like everybody's honeymoon phase ends at different times.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many reasons that would, and so for those of you who are, married already, you understand that, okay, the honeymoon comes to a limit. But I'm not going to be telling somebody, all right, I know you want to get married, but your honeymoon only going to last 3 months. No, that it's like, no, be present in the moment and enjoy. But what we're trying to say is that, yes, enjoy it. But when life starts to feel like it's just that everyday grind, or it's not as spectacular, or it's not about me today, because on your wedding day, it's all about you. It's the
Mhm.
perfect day for you to ask for whatever you want. And that's not every day. And when that reality hits, we're saying, embrace it. Embrace the day-to-day, man, we're building a life together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the space. I think it could lessen disappointment, or those areas of like, man, I thought it was going to be this way. Well, it can be. You're just building a life, and it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We live by these 2 phrases now. And the first one is be where your feet are. And the second one is living life on life's terms. And it's really just a picture of, we only have the moment that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And it can be easy to, even with us sharing these things, 3 things we wish we knew, now your brains are running of like, okay, now I got to figure that out. Out. Like, you can only be where your feet are right now. And living life on life's terms is saying, okay, this is what the terms of life that I have right now, and how do I show up in it?
It's not this is the cards I've been dealt. I don't really believe in that. Like, especially as a believer, like,
it feels very powerless.
God takes your life and flips it upside down and do woo wop wop wop. and you end up in places that you never would have dreamed of. Like, we understand the faith element into our life, but what we're saying by living life on life's terms is when circumstances, situations come up that you can't control, don't pretend like you know how to control it.
Right.
Don't go grasping for what used to be when life is shifting and changing. Embrace the day. And I think it's so powerful when both of us do it. Because if one person does it and the other one, then it's like, oh, we're not on the same page. Like, man, you're living in yesterday when, like, tomorrow is already here. And so that's what we mean by living life on life's terms, because there's so many things that we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And once we start to live in that reality, it's not saying that, oh, because, you know, me and Chantel, we understand that we can't control life, doesn't mean that life doesn't hit sometimes and we're like,
right.
Oh, wasn't ready for that. It just means like our pivot of how we respond is, okay, let me take a deep breath. I just got a blow in the stomach. Wasn't expecting that. But man, I was made for this moment. We were made for this moment.
Yeah.
We can do this. Like, we can move forward in our marriage, in our family, the dreams that are in our life, the things that we're going after. It might not look like how we were expecting it to look, you know, when we were planning that thing earlier this year, or that trip that we wanted to go on that's not going to happen. It might not be happening, but man, we still got us, and we still got a lot more life to live.
Yeah.
Living life on life terms.
That's good. Well, we're going to be unpacking a lot about marriage on this podcast.
Yes.
We have a meeting in 3 minutes.
Yes.
So we are going to
We're going to
sign off.
Yes.
Check out. What am I saying?
Check out nothing, babe.
Sign off.
Go to Come Alive Life Coaching. Here, I'm gonna give you a little shout out. If you are actually needing coaching in this season, and this podcast you're not listening to it like from 3 years ago, because my wife is gonna be doing even bigger things by that time. So you better get her now for coaching, because she might be charging $3,000 a session or something. So yeah, if you're like, man, some of these things were really hitting, and I'm a single girl, or
right.
I'm married, you know, and these are really helping. But I need a little bit more. You can actually reach out, comealivelifecoaching.com. But other than that, man, we hope y'all have a great day, good night, whatever time zone or space you're listening to our podcast. Thanks for listening to us, and thanks for just giving us time to speak with y'all and dialogue a little bit.
We will be back. We love you guys.